Hello everyone. Good morning all of you. Welcome to you all in today's fourth online lecture of chapter number 4. And the name of chapter number 4 is Tick Tick Tick. In this chapter till today we studied all things about the clock. Now today this all thing we revise with the help of one story. Let us see. Pampers and Sazia were discussing whose home is farther from the school. Now, farther means far away. Whose house is more far away from the school? Pampers or Sazia's home? Sazia says that I just walk for 2 minutes to reach the school. So Pampers says that I have to walk for 5 minutes to reach the school. When they were discussing at that time, they both are talking about the clock. Sazia says that in 2 minutes I reach the school, whereas the Pompous says that when I have to walk for 5 minutes, I reach the school. Now Pompous says that impossible. Your home is farther from the school. This thing when you can say when you know someone's house. If you know someone's house, so from the distance you can say that whose house is farther and whose house is nearer. At the same time, Sazia says that, but I checked my watch. I start for school at 7 o'clock. And how the 7 o'clock? When your hour hand always short. When your hour hand on 7 and your minute hand on 12. At that time, it is a 7 o'clock. So Sazia says that when I left my house, I just checked my watch, and at that time, in the watch, there will be a 7 o'clock. Now Sazia says, when I reach the school, the minute hand points at 2. When she left her house at that time, minute hand on 12. And when she reached the school at that time, the minute hand on 2. So, should not it be a 2 minute? It is a past 7 or 7 2. See here, she is telling like this. When she left her house at that time, minute hand on 12. But when she reached the school at that time, the minute hand points at 2. So Shazia doesn't know how to see clock. That's why she says that in a 2 minute she reached the school. After that, she also read clock false. How it is? When your minute hand on 2, she says that 2 minutes past 7. It means what 2 minutes past 7 means 7 o'clock is done. And after that 2 minute is done. So it is known as 702? No, she is telling wrong. Now Pompous says that you are wrong. You reach school at 7:10. So Sazia surprised. How? So Pompous again says that, can you see these thin lines between the numbers? You see here in this clock, between the two numbers, there are 5 lines. And this 5 line is considered as minute. So between 12 to 1, there is a 5 line. So the distance from 12 to 1, when minute hand is covered, it means what? 5 minute is complete. Again, when minute hand moves from 1 to 2, again 5 minutes is complete. So total it's a 10 minutes that we already studied in our previous lecture. Therefore, Pompous says that this thin lines is known as minute. Now Sazia says that, so what? So Pompous says that the minute hand moves across 10 lines after 12. When the minute hand moves from 12 to 1, it's a 5 minute. 5 lines are there. And again, when the minute hand moves 1 to 2, again 5 minutes are there. So total there is a 10 lines when minute hand moves from 12 to 2. So the timing is 10 minutes past 7. Or we can say that it's a 7:10. Now 10 minutes past 7 means what? 7 o'clock is done and after 7 o'clock 10 minutes is past. Or in number we can say it's a 7:10. Now Compose says that I start for school at 7. When he left his house, at that time he shows that it is a 7 o'clock. And when he reached the school at 7:05. See, the minute hand moves across 5 line means minute hand moves from 12 to 1. When Pompous left his house at that time, minute hand on 12. And when he reached at the school at that time, minute hand on 1. So how many minutes between 12 to 1? It's a 5 minutes. So we can say that at 7:05 he reached the school. So whose house is further away from the school? Of course, we can say that Sazia's house is far away from the school. How we can say this thing? Because Sazia took 10 minutes to reach the school, whereas the Pompous reached in 5 minutes. So, whose house is farther away from the school? Far away from the school. So, we can say Sazia's house. Whereas, whose house is nearer to the school? So, we can say that Pompo's house is nearer to the school. Now, do you like sky watching? If yes, then one should interest for you. You know at what time does the sun rise at your place? When does the sun set? Does the sun rise and set at the same time every day? See here. First of all, we see what is sunrise and what is sunset. See here in the picture, when sun just rises up, it means we can't see the sun. We just see the light of the sun at the time of sunrise. Whereas in the time of the sunset, sun goes down. we see the light of the sun for some time only. So, if you want to know what is the time of the sunrise and what is the time of the sunset at your place, how you know that? Do you know where these things are written? You just check the newspaper and see. In everyday newspaper, they were given the time of sunrise and the time of sunset of your particular place, of your cities. They were given. And the timing of sunrise and sunset are not same every day. Somewhat fluctuate, somewhat different in the time of the sunrise and sunset. Now, here, look at the newspaper and see the time of the sunrise and sunset in the different month or in the different days. See here, this is the one newspaper's image in this given days and dates. In that dates already given the timing of sunrise and the timing of sunset. This is the time of sunrise. Means what? When we see the sun, we see the light of sun in the early morning, but we can't see the sun at that time. After some time, we see the light and as well as the sun. So, in the 1st November, the timing for sunrise is 7:59 a.m. Whereas the timing of that day for sunset is 6:01 p.m. It means what? At by 6 o'clock and 1 minute, sun goes down. We see the light of the sun, but we can't see the sun at the time of sunset. Whereas you see in the 2nd November, the timing for sunrise is 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock in the morning. Whereas the time for sunset is 5:59 p.m. Then again on the 3rd November, it is different, slightly different. Not major different, it is slightly different. Time for sunrise is 8:02 a.m. whereas the time for sunset is 5:58 p.m. So you see in the whole month there were somewhat fluctuate, somewhat different in the second, the timing for sunset and the timing for sunrise. So we can say that it is different from place to place as well as the timing for sunset and sunrise is different from day to day and from city to city. Now look at this picture. In this picture you can see 1. Hour hand on 4, whereas the minute hand on 7. After that, after some time, minute hand on 10. But still now, hour hand on 4. So, how many minutes? The difference in the minute. So, you see here, just minute hand change its place. First, minute hand on 7, and after that, the minute hand on 10. So between 7 to 10, how many numbers are there? See here, 8, 9 and 10. Three numbers are there. So, as we know already, when we move from one number to another number, next number, there will be a 5 minutes. So, how many numbers are there? Three numbers are there. So multiply by 5. 3 5s are 15. So the difference between this clock, difference between these two hand is 15 minutes. Why it is 15 minutes? Because minute hand moves from 7 to 10. Between this three number, between these two number, there are three numbers, and each number, the gap of each number is 5 minutes. So 3 5s are 15 minutes. Now next in C, in this picture, again minute hand on 4 and hour hand on 4 and minute hand on 8. When it is moved from 8 to 12, how many digits are there? How many numbers are there? Between 8 to 12, there are 4 numbers. So 4 5s are 20. So the difference between these two minute hand is 20 minutes. 4 multiplied by 5, it's a 20. 4 5s are 20 minutes. And why we multiply by 5? Because we know that in a clock, the difference between two number is 5. There are 5 small lines between two numbers. That's why we consider that when we move from one number to the next number, there will be a 5 minutes. See the next one. Here you can see hour hand on 6 and minute hand on 1 in the first one. Whereas in the second one, hour hand on 6 and minute hand on 3. How many numbers between these two? Two numbers are there. So 2 5s are 10. So the answer is 10 minutes. Our minute hand moves 1 to 3 and there are two numbers, therefore 2 5s are 10. Now see in this one. In the first clock there is a 7:10 and after that it's a 7:45. Can you tell me how many numbers between these two? Yes, the between 2 and 9 there will be a 7 number. So 7 5s are 35. So what is the difference between these two time? We can say the difference between these two time is 35 minutes. How it comes? Our minute hand moves from 2 to 9 and between these 2 to 9 there will be a 7 number and the gap, the difference between the lines between two number is 5. Therefore 7 multiplied by 5. 7 5s are 35. Now the minute hand start from 2. Minute hand start from 2. How many minutes will it take to come back to 2 again? When we, as we already studied that, minute hand complete one round. At that time, our 1 hour is complete. And in a 1 hour, how many minutes are there? 60 minutes are there. So, we can say that when minute hand start from 2 and ending back to 2 again at that time, how many minutes are there? 60 minutes are there. So we can say that 60 minutes will it take to come back to on 2. What happens to the hour hand? Does it move? Yes. Our hour hand is always moves. And how long will it take to move from one number to the next number? Hour hand is not moves like minute hand and as well like second hand. When it moves, we can say that our hand is moves and when our hand moves from one number to the next number in how many time? In a 60 minute or we can say in a 1 hour. It will take move from one number to the next number. Now you have to write down here some activities which is take about an hour to complete. So your mummy, your mom makes the breakfast for you. So it takes hour. When anyone cleans the home at that time also in this activity it is take to complete about 1 hour. Now you have to just think by yourself and write down the answer. Which activity takes 1 hour to complete? Thank you. I hope you all understand these all topics very nicely and clearly.